Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all again in my class. I hope you all are good and doing well at your I'm also good and doing great. So, students, if you know or if you remember, we were studying our chapter number 1, Introduction, but this is the chapter from Physics, if you remember this. Okay? So, today basically we are going to start Today, basically, we are going to start again from chapter number 1, introduction, and that is again from chemist physics. Okay, let me check you why my voice is not much clear. Wait for a minute. Okay, beta, no problem from my side. Please tell me, is it clear? Can you hear me? Is it clear? Students, please tell me. Okay, okay. So basically, students, we were studying chapter number 1 from physics, that is introduction. And basically, this is your lecture number 8. Okay. And let me introduce myself again. I know it is not much needed, but still I'm going to introduce myself. I am your 8th grade physics teacher, that is Miss Falak. Okay. So, if you remember what we have studied so far in physics, we have studied about the definitions of the physics, a little bit intro about the physics. Now, what we are going to study today from physics, what we are going to study today, we will study today number 1, contribution of Muslims in the field of physics. Okay, contribution of Muslims in the field of physics, and then we will cover the second topic as well, that is teachings of Islam and science. Okay, so let's start from contribution of Muslims in the field of physics. Students, you know, Muslims play a wide role in every field of science. So whenever we look into the history, we always also look into the contribution of Muslims that they have done or they have contributed, what are the contributions they had did it in the field of physics as well. So in the field of physics, the most prominent Muslim scientist was number 1, Abu Ali Hassan ibn al-Haytham. Okay, Abu Ali Hassan ibn al-Haytham, or you can say in Urdu, Abu Ali Hassan ibn al-Hassan. Okay, but in English you will learn it like Abu Ali Hassan ibn al-Haytham. Okay. Next Muslim scientist was Yaqub ibn Ishaq al-Kindi. Yaqub ibn Ishaq al-Kindi. And the last one is Abu Rehan Muhammad bin Ahmad al-Biruni. Okay, so these were the three Muslim scientists that we are going to study today or only in this chapter. Okay, so we will focus only on these three scientists. Okay, so let's start from number 1, that is Abu Ali Hassan ibn Haytham. Okay, Abu Ali Hassan ibn Haytham. So basically, he was born in Basra, a renowned city in Iraq. Friends, I want to tell you one thing here, that during the Abbasid period, the city of Iraq, that is the name Baghdad, is one of the greatest center of learning and knowledge during the Abbasid period. Okay, Muslims from all over the world, scientists from all over the world, intellectuals from all over the world came here and learned so many things regarding science and many other subjects. So this is one of the prominent or most important scientists that also belong to Iran. Okay, he was a great scholar of not only physics. Okay, he was not only the physics scholar of physics, but he also a great scholar of mathematics, engineering, astronomy, and medicine. Okay, mathematics, engineering, astronomy, and medicine. You know what are these branches: mathematics, engineering, medicine. But what is astronomy? Astronomy basically it is the study of sun, moon, stars, and other planets in the space. Okay, sun, moon, stars, and the study of sun, moon, stars, and other planets in the space, that is called astronomy. So basically, he was a great scholar of all these main fields of science. Now, what are are his contributions in the field of physics. So in the field of physics, he wrote so many books on various subjects. But in the field of physics, the one of the most important, or you can say the masterpiece work, was his book Kitabul Manazir on the subject of optics. Okay, what was his main contribution in the field of physics is the book that is with the name Kitabul Manazir. Okay, Kitabul Manazir, that book is on the subject of optics. Now here, what is optics? Optics is again is the branch of physical science. Okay, it is the branch of physical science that deals with the properties and phenomena of both visible and invisible light with vision. Means in short, in optics you can say you will learn about the visible and invisible of light, invisible lights, as well as along with your vision. Means how can you see how image is produced. So this is the topic, or this is the subject of that is called optics. Okay, so he wrote one of the most important book or most remarkable book with the name Kitabul Manazil. Basically, in this book, he criticized the theory about nature of light that was presented by great philosophers of the past. Okay, why this book is so important? Because according to him, or the theory that he presented, is that firstly, light. Okay, listen to me again. Firstly, the light enters into our eye. Okay, the light first it will enter into our eye and then emits in the form of rays from the eye. Okay, what happens? Light enters into our eye and then it emits in the form of rays from our eye. And when these rays fall on object, and then it will make the object visible to us. Means he presented this theory that how image or how the different objects are visible to us. So what he presented, what he said that firstly light enters into our eye, then it emits in the form of rays from the eye, and then when those rays falls on object, it will make the object visible. So this was the theory of Ibn al-Haytham. Ibn al-Haytham. So that was presented in his book Kitabul Manazir. That is basically on the subject of optics. Okay. Also, he discovered the nature of light as well. Students, if you remember, when I started the chapter number 1 of physics, I have told you that our universe is made up of only two things. Number one, either they are matter or either they are energy. So he declared, who Ibn al-Haytham, he declared that light is a form of energy. What he said that light is not a matter, it is a form of energy. That was the contribution, or that was the discovery of Ibn al-Haytham. Okay, so the next most important contribution of him was he invented a pinhole camera and managed to obtain an image of sun eclipse. Now, what is pinhole camera? First of all, the pinhole camera was invented by Ibn al-Haytham. Okay, what is a pinhole camera? It is composed of a box. Okay, this box is basically light proof. Means inside the box there is no light, and it has a tiny hole in it. That's why we will say it is a pinhole camera, and that hole is called as the aperture. Okay, if you look here, if you can see, this is called the pinhole camera. Why? Because it has an aperture. What happened or how it will work? The most important thing, how it will work. Light from the scene. Means just suppose if you can see here, the light is coming here, and this is your scene. Okay, so the light from the scene passes through the aperture. That's this one, the hole. Okay, the light from the scene passes through the aperture and projects an inverted image on the opposite side of the box. Okay, so this is the camera that was invented by invented by Ibn al-Haytham. Okay, what he developed or what he invented this camera that is composed of a box. Inside a box, he made a tiny hole, and when the light passes from this tiny hole, then it will invented, or you can say it will projects an invert image of the object on the other side of the box. Just you can see here that the image of this tree here. Okay, so this camera was invented by Ibn al-Haytham, and he managed to obtain an image of sun eclipse with the help of this camera. Okay. Next is he also gave two laws of reflection. Reflection means how light will reflect. Reflect means moving back. Means one thing, one light is coming and then it will strike with the surface and then move back. So how light will move back. So what the laws regarding the reflection of light was also presented by Ibn al-Haytham. Next most important scientist is Yaqub ibn Ishaq al-Hindi. Yaqub ibn Ishaq al-Hindi. And he was also born in Basra, a renowned city of Iraq. And he produced many research monographs on meteorology. Okay, now what is monographs? 1 minute. He produced many research monographs. Now, what are monographs? Monographs basically it is a long, detailed piece of writing on a specific subject. Okay, what are monographs? Monograph is a long, detailed piece of writing on any specific subject. So he writes so many monographs. Now, number one, meteorology, then specific gravity and on types. Okay, now what is meteorology? So meteorology is the scientific study of atmosphere that focuses on weather processes and forecasting. Okay, meteorology basically it is the study of atmosphere, that specific gravity and on types. So what are types? Why types? What are types? Anyone know what are types here? Can anyone tell me? Hmm? Can anyone tell me what are types? Student, I am waiting for your reply. Okay, so you are not interested in telling me what are tides. So tides basically are the rise and fall of sea levels. Means जो लहरें आपके पास बनती हैं that are called tides. So basically he wrote a detailed piece of writing on meteorology, specific gravity, and on tides as well. Okay. His next important contribution, or you can say his most important work, was in sound and optics. You know what is optics? Again, it is the branch of physical science that deals with the properties and phenomena of visible and invisible light. Okay, so that will be the optics, and also on sound. And you know what is sound as well. So he did a most important work on sound and optics. Okay, in sound, what he did, he explained the musical notes on scientific grounds. Okay, you know here what are these? These are the musical notes. See, so he explained this musical notes on scientific ground as well. Means how these notes will appear, how will sound will produce, what are the musical sounds. So all this thing was also explained by Ibn Ishaq al-Hindi. Okay. And the last one is he worked in geometrical optics. Okay, what he worked? He also worked in geometrical optics, which was translated in Latin. With a scientific ground means on the level of science. Okay, on science level. Musical usually आप इसे art में लेते हैं, in entertainment terms लेते हैं, but he also explained it on scientific ground. Means on the base on the level of science as well, with respect to science as well. Okay, so he worked in geometrical optics. Now, what are geometrical optics? Here you can see, here you can see the different images here, the light or this and that. So basically, through the help of geometrical optics, it will help you to understand the basis of light, reflection, and refraction. Means light reflects back or reflection. So this is called geometrical optics. So he also worked on all these things, means on the laws of refraction and reflections. Light reflects. When light reflects, when it strikes with a solid surface. कोई भी light अगर solid surface के ऊपर जाके पड़ती है तो it will move back. So this is the reflection. And if it is not moved back, so that will be the refraction. So all this thing that is considered as geometrical optics, it was also, the work on this was also done by Ibn Ishaq al-Hindi. So these were the important work of Ibn Ishaq al-Hindi. Okay, is it clear? Okay, the next is Abu Rehan Muhammad bin Ahmad al-Biruni. Okay, have you? Okay, al-Biruni. नाम सुना है कभी पहले? Have you listened this game before? Al-Biruni, or anything that you learn or read about Al-Biruni, students? If you remember, in which subject? Okay, in which subject? Fatma Karim says no. Okay, you don't know about Al-Biruni. Who was Al-Biruni? Okay, Rumesa says in chemistry. That's good. Very good. Okay, now let's check it out about Al-Biruni and who was. Al-Biruni was born in a small town Beron in present-day Afghanistan. Okay, he was a great scholar of his time. Why he was a great scholar? Because he wrote more than 150 books on various subjects. Okay, he wrote more than 150 books on various subjects, including biology, physics, mathematics, history, culture, chemistry, and so on. Miss Al-Biruni was a great scholar of his time, and you know how much it is difficult to study about all these subjects because in early ages there were no internet, no telephones, no media, nothing. And he did a lot of research not only in only one field but also in so many fields, including biology, physics, mathematics, history, culture, chemistry, and so on. Means whenever you are going to study any subject, you will also learn about the contribution of Al-Biruni in that specific subject. Like just like you have read him about in chemistry, now you are going to read about him in physics as well. So that's why he was considered as one of the greatest scholar of his time. Okay? Now, Abu Rehan Muhammad bin Ahmad al-Biruni. Number one, his most important contribution is that he practically proved that Earth is round, not flat. Okay? Before his discovery and before him, the all the scientists and all the scholars, they thought that the earth is flat, just like here. You can see the picture of flat earth here. So what the scientists think that earth is flat. He was the first scientist that tell everyone that basically earth is round. And he also managed to obtain or measure the circumference of Earth. Means it's too much difficult, but he developed a formula according to which he tell everyone how to measure the circumference of Earth. Okay? So I think according to me, this is one of the most important contribution and most important work that was done by any scientist. This Al-Biruni like also, he gave the method of determining the longitude and latitude of a place. Means, if we want to determine what will be the latitude, what will be the longitude, and what will be the latitude of that specific place, he also gave the method about it. Means, he tells the formula how to measure the circumference of Earth. Also, he tells so many methods to determine the longitude and latitude of our place as well. Okay. Also, he found densities of various metals, and you have learned this thing in physics, in chemistry as well. Okay, you have also learned about this in chemistry that he also found the densities of the various metals. Okay, so this was the work that was done by Al-Biruni. Okay, the next topic is teachings of Islam and science. Teaching of Islam and science. Okay, students, can you tell me how science is important or what are the teaching of Islam regarding science? Hmm? Students, can you tell me? Okay, now. In the Holy Quran, the Almighty Allah urges the Muslim to study nature. Okay. In the Holy Quran, the Almighty Allah asks a Muslim to study nature. Means it is our religion, it is our Allah that asks us to tell Muslim to study about nature. To act with sobriety. Sobriety means the act of sober. Means you have if you have a good habit, that is called sobriety. And to benefit from scientific knowledge thoughtfully. Means these were the teachings of Islam regarding science. Means this is our religion that emphasizes too much on science as well as on learning as well as on knowledge. Means why our religion is so much important, why we thought and why we said that Islam has a very vast you can say view regarding science and technology, because Islam emphasizes its Muslims to study nature, to study each and everything that Allah has made for us. Okay? Now, so ayahs that are regarding the seeking of knowledge. Okay? Here I am going to tell you some ayahs that are regarding the seeking of knowledge. Abdul Rahman is asking about sobriety. Sobriety means within the state of being sober, means good habit. You have to develop a good habit. Okay, now I asked regarding the seeking of knowledge. The one and the most important ayat is this. The from Surah Al-Alaq, ayat 1 to 5. You know what is Surah Al-Alaq? Ikra bismi rabbikal ladzi. Okay, so according to that, read means Allah में क्या कहता है पढ़िए. In the name of the Lord who created, means you have to read in the name of the Lord who created you. And when He said, means Allah said, create man from a clot of blood. Means what Allah said in the Quran, that read, यानी कि पढ़ो. In the name of the Lord who created, means who created you, who created man from a clot of blood. And then He said, read. And again He said, read. And it is Thy Lord, the most bountiful. Bountiful means जिसको बहुत knowledge है. Then who teach by pen, the teached man that which he knew not. Okay, these were the most famous ayat. You know, Al-Alaq means Allah हमें क्या कहता है पढ़िए in the name of the Lord who created you with the blood, and then who is most bountiful, who teach you by pen, teach man that which he knew not. मतलब उसको वो भी सिखाया जिसको नहीं आता था. So, according if you look into these ayats, so basically our ayats and our Islam emphasizes on learning so much. Another ayat from the Quran is from Surah Baqarah. Okay, these are the ayat from Surah Baqarah that are ayat number 31 till 33. What is that ayat? And He taught Adam all the names. And He taught. He means Allah. He taught all the names, then showed them to the angels. Means उन्होंने आदम को सारे नाम सिखाए. And then angels, and then showed them to the angels. And saying, means Allah कहता है, inform me of the names. किससे कह रहा है? किससे मुखातिब है? Angels से. Inform me of the names of this if they are truthful. Means मुझे उन names के बारे में बताओ अगर वो सही है. So they said, who said? Angel said, we glorified, we have no knowledge saving that which thou hast taught us. Means we have only that knowledge that is taught by you. Okay, apart from that we have nothing to know. Okay, do though, only though means you are the one who knows everything and we don't know anything. Apart from that, that was taught us by Allah. We know only those things that was taught by Allah. Means Allah is He is the art of the knower. Means वही सब कुछ जानता है, the wise है, और वही समझदार है. Okay. He said, He means Allah said, O Adam, inform them of their names. And when He had informed them of their names, He said, फिर Allah कहता है, did I not tell you that I know the secret of the heavens and the earth? मतलब फिर Allah कह रहा है कि मैंने तुमसे नहीं कहा था कि मैं हूँ जो सारे ज़मीन और आसमान के तमाम राज़ों को जानता हूँ। And I know that which you disclose and which is hide means मैं ही हूँ जो कि जो जाहिर है और जो कि छुपा हुआ है उन सब चीज़ों को भी मैं ही जानता हूँ. So basically, the Allah has taught us everything, and according to the teaching of Islam and according to the teaching of Quran, Islam emphasizes us to learn everything, to gain knowledge about the earth, the universe, the world that was created by Allah, and it has shown again by the help of ayahs as well. Okay. Now moving to the next thing, there are many hadiths indicate the importance of learning and knowledge. Means not only in Quran, but our hadiths that were said by Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, they also tell us the importance of learning and knowledge as well. So one hadith narrates first knowledge from cradle to grave. Okay. Can anyone tell me, have you listened or heard about this hadith any before? First knowledge from cradle to grave. What does it mean in Urdu? Can anyone tell me first knowledge from the cradle to grave? Okay, if anyone knows, no, then please raise your hand and I will unmute you. I know. Class, can you tell me? Okay, Abdul Rahman raises your hand. Okay, now Abdul Rahman, I'm going to unmute you. Okay, now Abdul Rahman, please tell me what is this?
मिस हजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया कि तालीम सीखो चाहे तुम्हें चीन ही क्यों ना जाना पड़े.
No, this is not the meaning of this hadith. Push knowledge from cradle to grave. Anyone else? Anyone else? Class, anyone else? No? Push knowledge from cradle to grave. Very simple. Okay, so first knowledge from cradle to grave मतलब माँ की गोद से कब्र तक इल्म हासिल करो. Okay. Then another hadith, the Holy Prophet peace be upon him said, to gain knowledge is an obligation to every Muslim man and woman. मतलब इल्म हासिल करना हर मुसलमान मर्द और औरत पर फर्ज. So according to our Islam, if you look very deeply into our Islam, that our Islam tell us to learn, to gain knowledge from cradle to grave, means throughout our entire life, we have to learn, we have to gain knowledge. These are the teachings of Islam. Okay, students, this is the end of the lecture. And now in the next lecture, I am going, in the next slide, I am going to ask some fill the blanks. So, okay, now students, number one, fill the blank number one. Dash declared a light, dash declared light a form of energy. Who declared this? Students, please tell me the answer. Okay, Fatima Abdul Kareem, you are right. Okay, anyone else? Okay, Vispa, you are right. Anyone else? Anyone else? Only Fatima and Vispa know the answer. What about others? Abdul Rahman, please write it down in the chat box. If you want to ask anything, please write it down in the chat box. Anyone else? Okay, Abdul Rahman, you said your answer is right, and your answer is right. Okay, so the correct answer is Ibn al. Ibn al-Haytham. Okay. Now the next one is dash proved that Earth is round, not flat. Okay, what will be the answer for this? Very good, very good. So the correct answer is Al-Biruni. Okay, that was the most famous contribution. Now moving on to the next one. Twist knowledge from dash to dash. Twist knowledge from dash to dash. What will be the answer for this? Please tell me. Very good, Bisma. Very good, Hafsa, Fatma Abdul Kareem, Zimal, Anita. All of you are giving the right answer. Good. So the answer is twist knowledge from cradle to grave. Okay, so the next one is dash found densities of various metals. Dash found densities of various metals. What will be the answer for this? I. Okay, Abdul Rahman, your answer is right. What about others? Okay, now all of you are giving the right answer. Zemel, Bisma, Fatma Abdul Kareem, Anita, your answer is right. So the correct answer, what is the correct answer? Where are other students? Okay, now I'm going to tell them, I'm going to call the names of those students who are not replying. Okay, where is Abdul Ahad? Where is Ali Rao? Where is Rumesa, Sanya, Shiza? Why you are not replying? Why is Roha, Zuhair, Fozia? Students, why you are not taking part in this question and answer session? Please tell me, where are you? What about the other students? Why you are not here? Okay, okay, Rumesa, but what about others? Okay, the next one or the last one, dash explain musical note on scientific ground. Dash explain musical note on scientific ground. Tell me the answer of this. Okay, Abdul Rahman. Spelling was wrong, but your answer is right. Anita, you are right. Fatma, you are right. What about others? Only Fatma, Anita, and Abdul Rahman. These are only three students who are focusing during the lecture. Okay, only 3 to 4 students are focusing on the lecture, were focusing on the lecture. And what about others? I'm going to again call the name of those students who are not replying. Zimel, Wise, Abdullah Alam, Talha, Shiza, Sania, Roha, Hafsa. What's the reason behind it? Okay, अब रोहा का reply आ गया. Next, what about others? What about others? Students, please. Time is almost over. So the correct answer is Yaqub ibn Ishaq al-Hindi. Okay. So that's the end of the lecture, students. If you want to ask any question, so you can ask me right now. and I am here to reply of all your queries and answers. So please ask the question. I am waiting for your question, and one thing that I want to tell you here is that number one, I'm going to mark your attendance as well with the help, but just I'm going to take the screenshot. Nothing. Okay. So students, today is your quiz day, and I'm going to post your quiz today after this class. Hopefully, I will try my best to post your quiz as soon as possible. And please, okay, Fatma said all clear. Okay, what about other class? Don't you want to ask anything? Don't you want to ask any question? Why is that so? Zimmer said all clear. Okay, then I'm going to post some questions here. Okay. Then thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with me. I'm always very thankful to you to listen to me. I know somehow you are not in the mood to listen the lecture, but still you are here. So thanks a lot.